Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to another episode of Sondik and Mengel. This one's been we've been waiting on it for a while. It's been a year since March Madness was canceled, but this year we're back and we're bringing you the official Sondik and Mengel bracket, baby. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm excited. So we're going to run through the whole entire bracket, give you our combined knowledge and wisdom. If you're looking for a few bracket picks, a few upset specials, we're going to run through the whole thing. And if there's a game where we tie, we're going to go behind the camera to our producer, Josh Gold. He's going to break the ties. There's gonna be some fights here. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's war, man. I mean, we gotta plead our case to him at a certain point.
At the end of the day, we're on the same team, and we're just trying to put out the best bracket we can for you guys.
Yes, sir.
So let's just kick it off right away in the West region with the number 1 overall seed, Gonzaga against either Norfolk State or Appalachian State. I think we can.
I'm gonna go with Gonzaga. Bold take. I think Gonzaga wins that one.
We will Sharpie that in there. We're not getting another UMBC, I don't think.
I don't think so, especially with this Gonzaga team. They look kind of lethal. They haven't really lost that much this year, so.
Not once. We'll bring it down to the 8-9 matchup, Oklahoma and Mizzou. How do you see this one going?
Based on, I'm a big fan of what have you done for me lately, and Oklahoma hasn't done a lot for me lately. And Missouri, we saw them play Arkansas super tight, and they have notable SEC wins, like we've talked about throughout the week. So I'm going to roll with Mizzou. The Big 12 is good, and no discredit to Oklahoma. They're a good 8 seed, but I think them not playing well is going to hurt them here. I got Mizzou.
I'm in on Missouri, too. Their biggest win of the year was over Illinois early in this season, and that really stood out to me. They've done a good job keeping pace in the SEC. They weren't a top-tier team, but Oklahoma was the 7th best team in the Big 12. Great conference, but towards the end of the year, they've been slipping. I'll go with Missouri as well. We'll go down into the 5-12 matchup with our favorite team, the Creighton Blue Jays taking on UC Santa Barbara.
So I'm happy Georgetown's going to prove my point, hopefully led my point to I didn't think Creighton would be a great 5 seed, and I knew they'd be a 5 seed. I'm going Santa Barbara. This is a very pro-UConn, anti-Creighton environment, but UC Santa Barbara's good, man. I mean, it was kind of Irvine's conference to lose, and we've been following them forever. Shout out the Anteaters. But Santa Barbara was too much. I mean, they only have 4 losses throughout the year. I'm gonna roll with them. And Creighton looked really terrible against Georgetown. I don't buy it. I know we're haters, but that opened my eyes up. They lost by 40. Got outscored on a 46-8 run against a 500 Georgetown team who's also seeded the same as Santa Barbara. So I got Santa Barbara.
This is gonna be our first tiebreaker needed here because I'm rocking with Creighton. As much as I hate to do it, I just think that Zagorowski, Mitch Ballack, there's a lot of experience there. They've been in the tournament before, not with the exact group of guys, but McDermott, he's a good coach. As a coach, he's a good coach, and
right.
He's been here before. He's gotten them through first-round matchups time and time again. I'll roll with Creighton here, although this one it's a little smelly. But Josh, who are you breaking the tie with here?
All right, gentlemen, thanks for calling me in. I'm going to have to side with Sondik here. Yes. 4-loss UC Santa Barbara team. Don't underestimate your Corey McLaughlin, man. Big West Player of the Year. I'm going with UC Santa Barbara.
All right, hey, that's totally okay.
We'll go.
See how it plays out.
Let's hope.
Our combination bracket. And next matchup, we got COVID Virginia against Ohio. I really like Ohio here. I think it's turning into more of a trendy pick, but they've got Preston, one of the best players in the MAC, one of the best players in college basketball this year. They're comparing him to a LaMelo Ball-like player. Points, rebounds, assists, kind of like that. And Virginia coming off the pause, I just think it's going to be really tough for them.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with you here. I like Ohio a ton. The MAC is no joke. The MAC with 1A, the MAC with 2As, we'll get to Patino later. But the MAC with 1A is no joke. They ran through Toledo, who I thought was going to run away with it. I mean, Toledo was blowing out teams left and right. They beat Buffalo, who's become not only a tournament fixture, but remember they beat Arizona by like 20, 25 a couple years ago?
Yep.
So the MAC is not to be underestimated, and Virginia on pause. Plus, we've seen Virginia. I know we're going to make the jokes, but like, now that we've seen it once, Ohio is way better than UMBC on paper, and this Virginia team is worse than that team. So, yeah, I got Ohio. I like the pick.
In the 6-11 matchup, we got USC versus either Wichita State or Drake. I love my Drake Bulldogs, but as much as it hurts me to do this, I've got to pick against them and or Wichita State, whichever one it ends up being. I'm going to go with USC. Mobley is a top 10 pick easily. That team's filled with great players. Pac-12 did have a down year, but I just think that they're better, especially with Drake missing Roman Penn, or I just don't believe in Wichita State.
Yeah, you're in agreement here. I don't think anyone on Drake or Wichita State. I think Drake with Rowan Penn in full strength. I think that I would have loved to see that, and we both would have been like Drake. But it's kind of tough to be realistic when you have Evan Mobley. And like, yeah, I mean, we saw him first glance when they played UConn earlier in the season. He's a monster. The Pac-12, yeah, they had a down year, but USC was one of those like bright shining like the only consistent team. We'll get to UCLA later because they weren't really. They fell apart at the end of the season. So yeah, I like USC over either of those teams.
Next matchup, I don't think there's much to talk about here. Kansas versus Eastern Washington. This one has blowout written all over it. I'm in on Kansas here.
Yeah, I got Kansas as well. I'm sorry, coward. I don't think they're gonna bring it home. We'll say that a minute the bracket got released, I was like, that's the biggest blowout of the week. So watch Eastern Washington do the impossible because I mean, what was Kansas on COVID?
Kansas has been on COVID, but they've been back practicing.
But
now,
I think they're
they're Kansas.
Bill Self. Come on.
The 7-10, the Oregon Ducks against the VCU Rams here. I'm in on Oregon. I know they burned us a little bit in the Pac-12 tournament, but Chris Duarte and then Dana Altman in March he's money. I have no reason to go against the Ducks here.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Bones Highland on VCU. We got our dosage of Bones watching the A10 tournament, and heck of a player, but I just don't. Oregon's been playing teams like UCLA and USC, and now I guess at this point Oregon State because they're a tournament team. So yeah, I got Oregon. Oregon and March, you always got to watch out for them.
The last first round matchup in the West, Iowa versus your boys Grand Canyon. As much as I know you want to take them, I think we're both on Iowa here.
Yeah, it's interesting because if there was a 15 seed that matches up well with them, it is Grand Canyon. I mean, Midgard's a monster, and he can shoot, so he could bring guards up. I'm plotting. I know Iowa's going to win, but I hope Grand Canyon keeps it close / covers. So I got Iowa.
Second round here in the West. We're going to take you all the way to our Final Four team there. So we got Gonzaga against Missouri. Missouri's been a little bit of a giant killer, but Gonzaga's not a giant they've seen yet this year. I'm in on the Zags. This isn't a shocker to anyone out there.
Yeah, Mark Few, Gonzaga.
Not much to say about that.
Half their teams on the All-American, all their whole starting five on All-American teams. So
yeah, interesting one here. We got 12 versus 13. UC Santa Barbara versus Ohio. I didn't have UC Santa Barbara advancing out of the first round. I'm in on Ohio again. I really believe in Jason Preston and what they've been doing this year. They lost to Illinois by 2. That's the same thing as I said in the first round. They're a really good basketball team led by an NBA player.
Yeah, I'll roll with Ohio over Santa Barbara in my hypothetical. I like Santa Barbara, but to win multiple games in March Madness, I don't think so. And Ohio, like, teams that come from the back, we've seen it before. Like, they have that, like, they play with a different, like, energy and different type of basketball. So I like Ohio if those teams were to hypothetically match up in the second round.
And the best second round matchup in this region that we have, USC-Kansas. I could see this one going either way, and I'm actually going to lean USC here with a little bit of an upset, 6/3. I think Mobley versus McCormick down low would be the key to that game, and Mobley's the one that's going to be going top 10, top 5 overall, so I'm going to roll with USC here.
Yeah, I like USC. We're getting boring. Just wait on it. I like USC also. I think that spells doom for Kansas. This isn't one of the best Kansas teams we've seen. And I know that's crazy to say because they still had a heck of a year and they notched a 3 seed. But I don't know. USC they've been moving different this year, and we're rolling with the NBA guys, I guess. But like that's kind of how March kind of births NBA stars, like we've seen over the years. So
exactly. And then our last matchup for the second round here, Oregon taking on Iowa. And as much as I really would love to pick Oregon and give us a little Pac-12 action there in the Sweet 16, I'm rolling with the Player of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year, Luka Garza. Done it twice in a row. Got too many shooters around him. Altman's done a lot of great coaching jobs in March before. This game would be one of his toughest ever if he could pull it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. In my bracket, I'm looking. I don't know. I'm not a huge Iowa guy. Like and I've heard it on podcasts before. Like Garza gets trouble back on defense sometimes. Sorry, I can't speak. Has trouble getting back on defense, and I think Oregon is. If any team's gonna do it, it'd be Oregon. I think if they drew VCU, I would take Iowa. But in this hypothetical world where Oregon does what I want and they beat VCU, I think they can upset Iowa, and I have it. I think I might get disagreements, but I got Oregon.
All right. I guess I'm breaking the tie again here, boys.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to go with Grant on this one. In the world of the Baylors, the Gonzagas, and all the other 1 seeds, I think Iowa's a little bit forgotten, and I think they have as high a ceiling as anybody else in the tournament. Luka Garza, walking double-double, so I think I'm going to have to go with Iowa here.
Those are some great points right there. I'm not going to argue with him.
Yeah, I mean, he makes good points. I mean, Iowa's obviously the better team. I just like, I'm so sick of. I don't want to see all Big Ten at the end, which might be. But I think Oregon, if they play their cards right, and we don't see Oregon State Oregon, and we see like the Oregon of yesteryear with Bate and Pritchard.
That's a game.
That's a great game. I hope we see it.
Sweet 16 matchup: Gonzaga versus Cinderella herself in Ohio. I think midnight strikes. Gonzaga moves on to the Elite Eight. Just too much talent, too good of a team.
It's boring.
Again.
Gonzaga got a cake region. I got Gonzaga, but ugh.
Gonzaga beat the 2, 3, and 4 within this region in the regular season.
Yeah, so I don't even. That was kind of inaccurate for me to say. It's cake for them because of their prior history.
Yes.
Like it's a good region. The other regions I think are a little more competitive. But.
And then the other game to get to Gonzaga in the Elite Eight: USC and Iowa. Who you got here?
USC, Iowa. I think if it came down to it, I'd roll with Iowa. I don't know. I don't think USC is gonna get this far. I mean, in this hypothetical world where Iowa probably beats my Ducks and they don't go quack quack. So I think Iowa.
I'm going to flip the script here on you and go with USC. Once again, I think Mobley is the key to this game. He can neutralize Garza and make it all about the guards. Peterson for US, I was going to say LSU, we'll get to them later, but USC has been having a fantastic year. They've got some transfers who have started to gel towards the end of the year here. I think USC's got a real shot to make some noise, and I have them over Iowa. So we're going to go to Josh to break this one again.
All right, thanks, Grant. I'm going to have to go with Iowa here. I love Mobley, but, I can't go against my boy Luka Garza, and I think that they have revenge against Gonzaga on their mind. I think that they'll do anything to get to the Elite Eight matchup with Gonzaga, so I got Iowa.
I can't knock you there. And then in the Elite Eight, we're boring, 1 versus 2, but these two teams, they're better than everyone else in this region. I tried to go with the USC little trendy upset pick, but can't go wrong there, and I'm just going to go with Gonzaga. They haven't lost a single game this year. Jalen Suggs is going to be a great NBA player. Kispert, Timmy, the list goes on and on to Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, I think Iowa. Gonzaga would throw so many bodies at Garza like we saw earlier, and they gave him 100. You give a top 5, top 10 team in the nation 100. I don't care when in the season it took place. It's gonna give me notice. It's boring, but it's Gonzaga. I think it's about time. I think they're Mark Few's sick of not having a ring.
Mark Few's one of the best coaches in all of college basketball. We see him going back to the Final Four again, and we'll head down to the East. Another 116 matchup, we'll fly through it. Michigan versus Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. Michigan doesn't have livers, but they're not going to have a problem
Mount St. Mary's they do have
Chung Kui.
Damian Chung Kui.
Chung Kui, shout out Chung Kui. Heck of a story. I'm bummed they beat Bryant, but yeah, Michigan. Come on.
Really exciting 8-9 matchup here, though. LSU versus St. Bonaventure. I'm big in on LSU. I'm really sold on them, especially after what I saw them do in the SEC tournament. Cam Thomas is an absolute star, and I think he could be potentially the breakout star of this tournament to make his draft stock just fly up. I'm in on LSU.
Yeah, I got LSU also. I don't think the Bonnies haven't really played a ton of opponents that are the quality of LSU, and I think they're a low 8 seed. I mean, like a couple 5 seeds I don't think are better than LSU. A couple 6s, a couple 7s. They kind of got a raw deal. I mean, if they win the SEC tournament, we're having a whole different discussion because they're a higher seed. But them being 8, I mean, I don't know. I think it ends for the Bonnies.
5-12, Colorado versus one of the hottest teams in the country, Georgetown, getting into the tournament. I think their time is up too, but I don't get it twisted. This team was 9-12 before the Big East tournament. That's not a good basketball team. They got hot at the right time, and Colorado's been steady all year. I'm in on Colorado.
Well, I got Colorado, but like barely. Them losing to Oregon State opened my eyes, especially because Georgetown and Oregon State are now like the same ranked seed. So that proves that Colorado can go down. But I think McKinley Wright's going to be too much for Georgetown's guard play. I mean, Georgetown's guards balled out in the Big East tournament, and they beat the top 2 Big East teams. So like I'm not gonna. Georgetown has my respect, and I think they keep it very close. But I got Colorado. I think they're a little better.
4-13 matchup. We got the Florida State Seminoles against UNC Greensboro, and as much as I want to pick UNC Greensboro, I just can't. Florida State can't win away from home, but they're just more talented, bigger, better, faster, stronger here.
Yeah. I like the reference. Yeah, I got them as well. I mean, we like to rip them how bad they are on the road, and this is not even on the list on the road because it's not in Tallahassee. When they're Tallahassee, they can beat anyone. When they're on the road, they can lose to anyone. But I think Florida State, UNC Greensboro will like be up at half. I think I could picture that.
I could see that.
And then Florida State was like, all right, we're gonna step in and show like we've made the march. And Leonard Hamilton, I mean, he's been there every year.
Great coach. And
great coach.
FSU always finds their way a few rounds in March.
Yeah,
it's
most
not surprising. 6-11, really interesting matchup we're gonna get here. BYU against either Michigan State or UCLA. We don't know the outcome of that first game. I'm going to assume Michigan State wins, and I'm going to take Michigan State to beat BYU as well.
Yeah, I think if BYU drives UCLA, I think they'll win because UCLA's been brick cold, and even if they hypothetically beat Sparty tomorrow night, I just don't see them winning multiple games in multiple days in the tournament. I don't think they have enough steam. But I'm going to agree with you. I think Sparty wins, they move on. I mean,
so we'll make the call as Sparty/UCLA, but we're really hoping it's Sparty here. If not, we're more in on BYU.
Yeah, because UCLA, we're not big believers.
No. 3-14, Texas versus Abilene Christian. The Big 12 tournament winners, Texas, I see them moving on here. I don't see them having too much problems with Abilene Christian.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I keep hearing how like efficient Abilene Christian is and how good their offense is. But Texas, I mean, they won the Big 12. Like I'm not gonna overthink it. I don't want to overthink it. But I got Texas in the battle of the Texas schools.
Yeah, and then our favorite first round matchup. I don't think we're gonna need some help with this one.
I don't think so.
UConn and Maryland, Huskies are advancing there.
Let's go. UConn in March.
Just had to happen. 2 versus 15, Alabama and Iona. Now, this one, you're not alone here. My dad has been saying this all week. He says, don't be surprised if Iona puts up a really good fight here. Rick Pitino in March with a team that hasn't played a ton of games. There's not a lot of tape on them.
With the casinos and
it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm still going to take Bama here as much as it's a
I swear this was the last matchup after UConn, and I saw it. I don't know. Alabama's gonna win, but I still don't feel good about it. It's Pitino. I know the talent gap is massive, but Iona, they were the only 9 seed in the MAC to be favored in all their games. I know it's a small sample size, but they had a 2-month off period between the season.
They didn't play a game for 50 days.
They're super rested. Like I don't know. I got Bama, but I don't like it.
We'll head into the second round, Michigan and LSU, and this is where I think our first 1 seed, pretty major upset here happens. I've got LSU beating Michigan. They're playing some awesome ball right now. Michigan without their glue guy, one of their top players, Livers. I like LSU.
Yeah, I agree. I think I saw that pretty quickly. Another if LSU loses first round, I think Michigan beats the Bonnies. I don't. It's like that's why this is so tough. But I got LSU over Michigan if they play. I think they cause nightmares and. Yeah, they're hot. I mean, they lost to Bama. It was they lost by 1, so they're still hot. So.
And then 5-4 matchup, Colorado, Florida State. And as much as I would love to pick Colorado and go against Florida State, I can't yet. They get good draws here. Florida State, Colorado lost to Oregon State, who wasn't a tournament team until they won that game. I just gotta go with Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State's better. I think if this was a matchup, it'd be a blowout. It'd be kind of a bigger blowout than their first round matchup, which is weird to say, but I don't think Colorado's that good. Florida State, they've been there before.
We've got 11 seeded Michigan State /UCLA, but Michigan State against Texas. And as much as I'd love to keep going with Izzo, I'm gonna roll with Longhorns here. Go Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas would be a little too much. So this is not one of Izzo's greatest teams. I mean, they have Aaron Henry, they have Rocket Watts. When both those guys are in the lineup, they're lethal, and when both those guys are in the lineup and producing, they could run through this bottom half of the region. But I got Texas by a hair, and if this came to fruition.
And then UConn and Alabama, it's going to look like such a homer pick, but I truly believe that UConn can and does win this ball game.
Yeah, Alabama's a football school, so I got UConn. I'm not scared. Dan Hurley kind of raised their coach, Nate Oates. I'm not scared at all if that was the matchup. I like the way UConn's defense could disrupt their top guys. I know JQ's great, and I know Shackelford's awesome, and Petty.
Yeah.
I know. I've watched them all year. But I got UConn.
UConn too. All right, we'll move it into the Sweet 16. LSU and Florida State. This is a really tough one for me. Once again, I'd love to pick against Florida State, but they just got a fantastic draw here, playing a Week 13, a Week 5, and then an 8 seed. I'm going Florida State.
If this happened, I'll roll LSU. I'll ride the hot hand. If they're fresh off beating Michigan, I think they'll have the confidence they can beat anyone. I think the mental note of beating the top seed, no matter how bad or good they're playing at the time, gives those teams the boost. Not all the times, because they use all their energy and then they crap out. But if this happened, I got LSU. I mean, I'm very anti-Florida State, but I got LSU.
We'll go to Josh on the tiebreaker here again.
I'm going to have to go with Sondik for some similar reasons. LSU really impressed me in the SEC championship game, and if they're going to be this hot all the way making a run to the Sweet 16, I'm going to have to go with LSU. I've been really impressed with Cameron Thomas and Trendon Watford, so I'm going LSU.
Hey, fine. And then big matchup between Texas and UConn. Once again, as much as I would love to pick the Huskies, I just think Texas is a little bit too much for them. I got the Longhorns moving on there.
I think I'll cut their hypothetical journey short here to ease the pain when it doesn't happen. I guess I'll go Texas. Betting UConn has been in the tournament in years, and I forgot how hard it is to pick a bracket with them in it. I'll go Texas very begrudgingly. Only a matter of I think UConn's offense will eventually give out. No matter how much we love them, and no matter how much we think Booknet's going to carry them, I think it would end here.
And then a really exciting Elite Eight matchup there between LSU and Texas. I'll go with Shaka Smart. I didn't have LSU winning last round. I think Texas punches their ticket to the Final Four for the first time, and as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at this region, if it wasn't UConn, I like Texas the most. I mean, Michigan's the worst one seed, and they're embattled and didn't look half as good as they not even close as good as they do with Isaiah Livers. And yeah, I like Texas. This region, this is good for them, and I think they'll ride the Big 12 momentum into the Final Four.
We'll flip it over to the other side of the bracket now. In the South, starting with Baylor and Hartford. We're moving the Baylor Bears on here. There's no...
Shout out Hartford, though, man. What a great story. I'm happy we have another team from CT dancing.
Then the 8-9 matchup, Roy Williams and his Tar Heels of UNC in Wisconsin. What you got?
I got Roy. I like UNC. They had a bounce back year. I mean, last year they were bad. I mean, not having Cole Anthony was terrible.
Yep.
And everyone saw how bad they were with that. But I think Roy's ready. Roy's determined. I don't see him going one and done. I know Wisconsin's decent. I know the Big Ten's deep as ever. But I like Roy in this matchup in UNC.
I'm in on UNC too. I don't have much to say there. The 5-12, Villanova and Winthrop. I think we're both in on Winthrop here. Villanova without Colin Gillespie just isn't the same.
Just not good. They're 1-3 without him. I knew it'd be bad, but after Georgetown proved me right and knocked them off, I knew they're ripe for an upset.
Jay Wright's a great coach, but he can only overcome so much.
Plus,
there.
Winthrop, they have one loss, and it was by 2 or 3 points. So
very good.
They're a great team. I don't care who they're playing.
4-13, we got Purdue Boilermakers and North Texas. I like this Purdue team a lot, especially after watching them in the Big Ten tournament. They put on a good show there. And North Texas, man.
Boo!
North Texas.
We wanted to see Charles Bassey in Western Kentucky.
That one hurts, and so there might be a little bit of a grudge there. But Purdue's better. I'm moving Purdue on.
I mean, yeah, North Texas. I think they're solid, but I think Purdue is just too much. And you're right, they should have beat Ohio State. You know, it all started when their big guy tried to do a Euro step on the fast break.
And it was over.
That's an instant. You look at a team, big guy do that, you know they lost.
It's over.
So I got Purdue in this one, though.
Another good 6-11 matchup. Texas Tech against Utah State. This one could go either way, in my opinion, but I'm going to go with the star power of Mac McClung here in Texas Tech.
Yeah, Utah State makes my stomach turn because Colorado, it should have been them, but Colorado State they couldn't pull it off. Utah State's a good squad though. I mean, they have a guy that's bald, so he has life experience.
Bald man on the court.
So hello.
But you're going Texas Tech?
I'll go Texas Tech.
All right.
I hope. I mean, I have high hopes for them and Mac.
Here's a matchup that's been giving us headaches all week. Arkansas against Colgate. I think the Razorbacks are a really good basketball team. Colgate's lost once all year, but guess what? They played 5 teams the whole year. They beat BU 5 times. BU's barely a Division I basketball program. I'm going with Arkansas.
Give me Colgate. Number 9 in net.
We got Lee Corso over here.
In the whole country. I got the props. 9 in the country in net. And I don't COVID disrupted who they played. The whole Patriot League is better than the teams they played, obviously. And the one loss they had, it was respect for the troops. They let Army win. So I like Colgate. It's an interesting matchup because they both love to run it. And I think they shoot 41% from 3 as a team throughout the whole year. If they had a lot of games that had 15 or 16 threes, if they make that number, they'll win. And I think they'll win. I don't think I'm gonna get the majority support here, but I got
We're gonna have to go to Josh on a tiebreaker here.
This may not be very supported, but a wise man once told me they play basketball and they make toothpaste. Colgate in 1, baby.
Oh my.
Yes! I hope I didn't lead this man astray with my props. But I like Colgate. I hope I even Arkansas going far.
All right. Hey, that's fine. Florida, Virginia Tech in the 7-10. I've got Virginia Tech. I don't think either of these teams are very good.
No.
I'm just going to go with the better conference here.
Yeah. It's so hard to pick Florida. I don't like Florida. But I don't think they're that great. I mean, the SEC saw hasn't been good, and they've been like mediocre in the SEC. So I like Tech. I think them getting a 10 seed was like crazy, and they got far. Yes. They got far in the ACC tournament, so I got Tech.
2:15 Ohio State against Oral Roberts. It's the Buckeyes.
Oral Roberts, they have a bucket though. Max Abamas, whatever his name is, 24 points a game, leads the nation in scoring. Hopefully,
he'll put on a show.
Hopefully, he puts on a show. Like
I
would love for him to have like 40, and for our bracket's sake, like Ohio State win. But yeah, Ohio State.
Back up to the top, Baylor versus the 8 seed UNC. That's a very scary 8 seed, but I'm still going with the Baylor Bears here. They're one of the best teams in college basketball. Shoot the 3 ball extremely well, which UNC does not. That's the difference there.
I'm gonna pick UNC. I just seeing how Baylor closed the season, and I know we're being nitpicky because they haven't lost too much, but they limped against Iowa State, they limped against Kansas State, they lost to Oklahoma State, and Baylor historically, you noticed like they haven't won, and I don't know, like I don't trust it. I don't know. I got UNC, but
Josh, going back to you here.
All right, off to break the tie. I'm gonna go with Baylor. A little bit begrudgingly. I don't think Baylor runs far for the reasons that Sondik just listed, but I don't think this is where their tournament run ends. So I'm going to go with the Bears.
Very fair. And then Winthrop against Purdue. I think this is where it runs out for Winthrop. Purdue is once again they're a physical team. They're a big team who played in the Big Ten the whole year, and I think that's just going to matter here more.
Yeah, I'm going to hop on the Purdue hype train. I think they've had much success over the years. I mean, a couple years ago with Carson Edwards, and they got pretty far. So I'm not going to discount their tournament success. And I think, yeah, Winthrop's a good story. If they beat Nova, I'll love them forever. But I got Purdue.
Texas Tech and Colgate. If you pick Colgate again, I'm ripping this bracket
No,
up.
it's Tech.
It's
Mac. It's Mac. No.
All right.
And if somehow they get there, I'm sorry, Colgate. Deep down, I wanted you to win. But
it's
It's Texas Tech. Yeah, of course.
And then Virginia Tech, Ohio State. It's just the Buckeyes. The Virginia Tech ACC, they were good this year, but Ohio State, once again, Big Ten team. It's kind of the theme here, if you're noticing it. Big Ten, one of the best conferences in all of college basketball, one of the best teams in the Big Ten. I've got them.
Yeah, I got them as well. I think Tech is good, but not on the same planet as Ohio State at this current moment in time.
Sweet 16 now, second weekend. Baylor and Purdue. The next 1 seed's falling here. I've got Purdue over Baylor. Like you said, Baylor's been shaky ever since the COVID pause, and that's kind of my main reason for going with Purdue here.
Yeah, I mean, I had them going out around earlier, but at this point, I think they're out too. I like the way Purdue matches up with them. I think they'd have trouble with Purdue's depth and how many guys can put the ball in the basket. And yeah, I mean, they're a really good 4 seed.
And then this game I'd have a lot of trouble with here. Texas Tech and Ohio State. I'll let you take this one first.
I'll begrudgingly go with Ohio State. Like, I don't know. I don't love picking Texas Tech because, God forbid, Utah State has some magic up their sleeve, and I'm banking on that possibility being higher than Ohio State losing early. So I'll pick Ohio State for the sake of maintaining the bracket, but I think that matchup would give Ohio State fits.
It's a scary matchup, but I think we're on the same page here. I'll go with Ohio State. And we get a Big Ten versus Big Ten Elite 8. Purdue and Ohio State played 3 times this year already. Purdue won the first 2. Ohio State won the last one in overtime. For Purdue to beat them twice and also push them to overtime, I think that kind of signals that they are the better team. They've been the better team later this year, except for that last matchup. I think Purdue's the Final Four team here.
Yeah, I'll begrudgingly agree. This region's been giving us fits. You guys don't understand. Purdue, you're like Texas Tech, Ohio State, Baylor, any of those teams can really get there. Even UNC, if they beat Baylor and if they can beat Baylor, they can beat Purdue. So, yeah, I'll pick Purdue, but that would be a dogfight. I wouldn't be putting past another overtime classic over there.
This is probably the reason we felt shaky sound, like you said.
Definitely,
So that's the Final Four team. That's a little more out there for us, I'd say, right now. And then down into the Midwest, Illinois and Drexel. Are the Dragons making any noise here?
I like Drexel, and I've been on Drexel TikTok. It's like that meme with the sound with the, I don't know how to describe it, but they have the Drexel players coming out and the Dragon getting all hype. But Illinois by a million.
Illinois.
So.
8-9. Sister Jean against Georgia Tech. This is another really tough 8-9 matchup. I'm going to roll with Loyola Chicago. Sister Jean's in the building. Magic's in the air. Watch out.
I'm going to go Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, Sister Jean. I feel like a part of Loyola's run was that no one saw it coming, and this year the whole world sees it coming. And I don't know, Georgia Tech, I mean, Josh Pastner's the ACC Coach of the Year, Moses Wright Player of the Year, and they were dogs in the ACC tournament. I'm bummed we didn't get them to play Virginia, because I think they could have beat Virginia if they actually played, but Virginia, COVID, and we get it. I like Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, Sister Jean. I feel like they know too much at this point. I think I'm going to get disagreement.
This Loyola team has a lot of seniors on it. They were all there that first time it happened, which is why I'm going with the experience here. Georgia Tech hasn't been in the tournament in a while. Josh?
Yeah, you're right, Sondik. I am going to disagree with you there. But, this is a matchup that's been giving me a lot of trouble. Two very good teams, very interesting teams. We got the ACC champs in Georgia Tech, but, I really like Loyola Chicago. Cameron Krutwig, 6'9", 225-pound monster. I got to go with Loyola Chicago here. 101-year-old Sister Jean in the building.
Magic's in the air when
I'm
she's
taking
there.
the Ramblers.
And then we'll move 5-12, Tennessee against Pac-12 tournament champs Oregon State. Once again, I'm using the same philosophy I did for Georgetown here. It's a team that wasn't very good, who got hot. I think it runs out. I'm going to move Tennessee on because of the defense.
I got Tennessee too. I mean, their lack of offensive firepower, if they go really cold, Oregon State could win a defensive battle. And it's so hard because if UConn would have had to win the Big East, our whole thing would be like, it's all about how you did in the regular season in relation to the tournament. So while the tournament means everything, how you did in the regular season is like how good you are. So with that long answer, I'll go Volunteers. I got Tennessee.
The 4-13 matchup, Cade Cunningham and Red Hot Oklahoma State against Liberty Bibberty Emu and Doug. I'm gonna, as much as I want to go with Liberty here, just to spite you, I'll be smarter than that and I'll roll with Oklahoma State.
Number 2, Cade Cunningham, Oklahoma State.
There we go.
Next question. I'm not disrespecting Liberty. I'm trying to be funny. Liberty's good.
Yeah,
that would be a close game.
If Liberty drew Virginia,
Liberty just doesn't play anyone
or
during
Florida
the year.
State.
The Atlantic Sun is junior varsity, and the Big 12 is like the big boys.
Oh, but the Patriot League isn't.
Fair enough. Arkansas, yeah. Fair.
Into the 6-11, San Diego State against our friends in New York, Syracuse. Unfortunately, I think Cuse wins this game as much as it hurts me to say it. Buddy Boeheim is red hot right now. Watch out for them.
Syracuse, just because, it's Boeheim. We've seen this before. Double-digit seed. I'm bummed they got in. I was so bummed when they got in and it wasn't even a first four. They were just like,
the committee has Syracuse bias.
Whatever.
3-14, West Virginia, Morehead State. Morehead State's they're a scary team, but Bob Huggins, Deuce McBride, too much firepower in West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't love West Virginia, and I think Morehead State, like, they pique our interest in this game. I think they're 19-1 since the new year, which is something I'm keeping my eye on. I saw them they won their semifinal, and then they killed Belmont. So that put my eye on them.
Definitely.
I don't like this matchup for them. I got West Virginia.
Clemson and Rutgers in a kind of a gross 7-10 game. Neither of these teams are playing their best basketball right now. I'll roll with the conference that was better this year in Rutgers, I guess.
I think Clemson's poopy. I got Rutgers. The whole time every time they put Clemson on national TV, I was reminded they're a football school. So thanks for Trevor Lawrence. I got Rutgers.
2-15, Houston, Cleveland State. I'll go Houston. I don't have much to say.
Houston, that'd be funny if they lost though.
Battle of Illinois in the second round. In the Fighting Illini against Loyola Chicago. Do we see some more Sister Jean magic? I know you all picked him to lose in the first round.
We don't.
I think we're going with Illinois here.
I don't know. Krutwig is awesome, but he hasn't had to face Kofi.
Yeah.
Kofi turns men back into boys. So I got Illinois.
I'm in on Kofi too. So the 4-5 matchup, really good clash of styles here. Tennessee hard-nosed defense, Oklahoma State offensive firepower. I'll roll with Cade. I'm thinking that's gonna lead into the game of the tournament.
A game that I wish I got to see as a Final Four, but yeah, Oklahoma State. People are high on Tennessee though, and a lot of people are being trendy. I just they had the most quad 1 wins, and the supporting cast has been a question mark for me because I didn't know much about them besides they had Cade, and the supporting cast is legit. They beat West Virginia without him, and then they beat them with him. So Oklahoma State's legit. I got them.
You got Syracuse and West Virginia. What are you doing with this one?
This is annoying. I'm gonna pick Syracuse. The 2-3. As much as I like to rag on it, the only coach that really can do it well is just stupid Boeheim, and I don't know. They're always dangerous, and like I said, I'm not huge on West Virginia. I don't know. I just this game screams Syracuse to me. I got Syracuse.
These are two of the best coaches in college basketball. It's undeniable. But country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Moving on. So we're going to have to go to Josh for the tiebreaker here.
This really pains me, boys, but I'm going to have to go with the orange. West Virginia 4-7 against ranked opponents this year. I don't know. We've seen Syracuse make it deep as a double-digit seed before. I think we know how this one plays out.
I think that's key to mention because West Virginia has been playing the best team, so we know how they play. They lost to Oklahoma State twice. They lost to Texas. They've beaten those teams because they played them multiple times.
They played Gonzaga to a 5-point game earlier this year. One of the very few teams to play them to a single-digit game. I don't know. I don't like to disregard that because it matters. But I don't know. I just gotta roll with Boeheim. It's calling to me. If I didn't want it, I wouldn't pick it. I'd love to pick San Diego State, but no, they're dangerous. All right, that's fair. And then Rutgers and Houston. As much as I'd love for Houston to lose here, if they got any other 7 or 10, I'm picking against them probably, but I have to go Houston.
I'll go Houston. I definitely have brackets where I have Rutgers, but they're not good. They're just not good. Houston's not good, but Rutgers really isn't good.
Best game of the Sweet 16, best game of the tournament. Illinois against Oklahoma State. Batman, Ayo Dosunmu, and Kofi against Cade himself. I think this is where we see Cade head to the NBA draft. Illinois,
but gosh, I hope we see this game. If Tennessee and Liberty and Loyola or Georgia, if they could just let us have this one, please, guys. Illinois, but it would be amazing.
And we go from the best Sweet 16 game to the worst Sweet 16 game of all time with Syracuse and Houston. Who do you have winning this one?
Syracuse. I'm gonna continue to ride them here because looking back on it, their path a couple years ago made more sense than I thought it did. And now I'm in the grand scheme of things, seeding with Boeheim doesn't really matter. So if they got Houston, I don't think it's just a matter of me not believing in Houston at all.
I would have felt a lot more comfortable picking West Virginia over Houston, but I'm going to roll with my same sentiment that Houston isn't good, and I guess I'll throw Cuse out there, which
that stinks,
hurts
man.
me to say. We got them going around further than UConn, and that hurts.
It's just because UConn doesn't get, whatever. They're not better. Oh, no, right, now I feel bad.
This one...
Illinois.
We're moving on.
Enough.
That's
Juice is done.
They're done.
If get there, oh, God.
Final four. Here we are. We got Gonzaga and Texas in one matchup. Purdue and Illinois in a Big Ten battle in the other. We'll throw it back to the other side. Gonzaga versus Texas. Gonzaga is the best team in the country all year long. Jalen Suggs, Mark Few, Timmy, Kispert. Finals.
Gonzaga. I think, they're due. They're beyond due. And this year, more than any year, it's for a team. You need to win the championship, or it's a failure. So.
And then the Big Ten battle on the other side, the Boilermakers of Purdue against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. I just think Illinois here is the better team. Purdue has Travion Williams, but Kofi turns men into boys, as you said. So I'm gonna rock with Illinois here.
I like that phrase. Yeah, I like Illinois as well. I mean, we've been high on them forever, and now they're getting now it's a popular pick, which we're bummed about, but that's just them being too good.
So we've got 2 1s in the final here, the number 1 overall seed, the number 3 overall seed, but we had a 3 and a 4 in the final 4, threw some different picks out there.
We're trying.
So we got Gonzaga and Illinois in the championship game, and this is where I think Gonzaga finally falls. I know I've been saying they're the best team, they're the best team. They haven't been playing the best competition over the last few months, and they had a pretty easy path here, beating a 16 Missouri, Ohio. Then you get Iowa and Texas, but Illinois has been battle-tested throughout the entire year, team after team, game after game. I think the Illini come out on top this year.
I saw that picture of Io imitating the Mamba, and I knew they've been locked in. It'd just be funny for Gonzaga to get all the way, and you're right. I mean, if they let Illinois do what BYU did to them for a lot of the game, it's not close. That opened my eyes up, and they haven't. I don't know. I feel like Gonzaga. It'd be a boring pick for us to pick them to go all the way, and we like Illinois, and Illinois matches up with them well. So. Illinois.
This can't be the year that a team goes undefeated too, because it wasn't the full season. It'd be like the Dolphins 72. You know, it's a shorter season. It just wouldn't feel right for it to be this year that they go.
Hopefully
undefeated.
Gonzaga's season ends like the Patriots in 07, and we don't have to worry about it.
There you have it, the Sondik and Mengel bracket with a little help of producer Josh Gold. Illinois over Gonzaga in the finals. Book it. It's gonna happen.
But barring UConn, we're gonna leave that out, and barring Iona or Grand Canyon, with some shenanigans. But that's all the time we have. Stay tuned. Match what happens in real life to our bracket, because we know we're gonna be hooked. So enjoy March Madness, and as always, folks, let's ride.